specializes in energy trading. In other words, he is a guy who explains what happens to oil in the markets. And boy, John Kilduff, are you the guy I want to talk to today? We've seen the markets get battered over the past couple of weeks with this coronavirus crisis. And then today, something happens between Russia and Saudi Arabia, where the price of oil goes through the floor, and that seems to have driven the even bloodier day on Wall Street today. Is it a coincidence that this oil thing happened alongside the coronavirus thing, or are they related?
I think the coronavirus was sort of the predicate to this breakdown between Saudi Arabia and Russian relationship regarding managing or trying to manage the oil market. Okay. And the Russians in particular, I think, have seen the U.S. shale and other producers nipping at their heels in terms of market share, particularly vis-a-vis China. As the Russians and the Saudis were meeting last week to determine how much oil production they should cut back, the U.S. posted yet another record week of oil production and, Rachel, another blockbuster, not another, but a blockbuster week of crude oil exports. And one of the biggest factors in that number was a cargo of crude oil from the Gulf of Mexico that isn't the shale, light, sweet stuff that you hear about, but heavier, sour stuff that competes directly head-to-head with the kind of crude Russia sells to their main customer, China. So Russia said, we've had it. And they told the Saudis as much. And the Saudis threw a hissy fit, basically, and went nuclear over the weekend. They said they were going to bump up their production next month over 10 million barrels a day. That's a lot. And they also gave huge discounts. Imagine going to, Walmart and getting a blue light special back in the day. Well, that's what's flashing over every Saudi oil tanker right now. They cut their selling price to all the major regions of the world by over $10 a barrel, which was just a feat that none of us in the market had ever seen before.
And the idea is to make oil so cheap that Russia can't make any money doing it, so that Russia breaks Russia's will and Russia gets in line with OPEC the way they want to deal with the crimp in demand and what they want to do with production to address that.
That, and I also have to say that the U.S. shale is in the crosshairs with that move, too, because nobody can come even close to competing with Saudi Arabia in terms of their cost of production. It's in the single digits. In the Permian, down in Texas, where this whole boom has been sprung up over the past number of years, they really have to have $50 a barrel. Maybe some of them can be as low as 40 or high 30s.
It went below 30 today.
Oh, yes, it went below 20. It went below 30 for a time overnight. It got as low as $27 a barrel at one point.
So the idea, as the price comes down and as Saudi engineers the price to come down, are they trying to force bankruptcies in the U.S.? You can't really force the Russian oil industry to go bankrupt because it's the Russian state. Are they trying to force producers out of the market, or are they just trying to change Russia's behavior, or both?
I think they would be more than happy to get Russia back in the fold, but also be somewhat happy to do some damage to the higher cost U.S. shale producers, to wring out some of that excess capacity. For years now, Saudi Arabia has been carrying the load in terms of trying to balance this oil market and keep prices at a decent enough level for all of them to sort of be happy and keep the home fires burning and meet or come close to meeting what are called their fiscal budgets, their fiscal break-evens for crude oil. Not the cost of production break-even or where they make money, but the money they need to support all their government programs and keep everybody happy.
This is a time that, if Saudi was ever going to do this, this is a time when the world is over a barrel for them doing it. But they could have done this at any time.
Any time at all. They have the market share. They have the market power. This is, for students of history that I know probably watch your show, this is right out of Rockefeller's playbook, the beauty rose theory, where you just low ball price the competition and wipe them out. That's what the Saudis have the power to do in this market, and that's what they're doing right now.